Hi, YouTubers and wet shavers everywhere. It's MargaretGeorgeTune.com. I'm back with another Monday morning mailbag. Get yourself a cup of coffee, kick back, relax. Let's talk a little wet shaving and a few other things. What do you got this morning? I got a Northeast Ohio coffee. Used it before on the channel. Hang on. Yeah, oh, that's a terrific cup of coffee in honor of summer, weekend getaways, vacations, that sort of thing. From Fire Island Coffee Company, Perry's Brew. We've talked about this before. Perry Monument, Put-in-Bay, the islands out on Lake Erie in the Northeast Ohio area. Big vacation destination for everybody in Ohio, from all the way from the eastern border, right around Ashtabula County, all the way going west into Toledo, and everywhere in between. People know about the islands, about the Perry Monument, Put-in-Bay, that sort of thing. A really terrific destination. And of course, this is Erie Island Coffee Company, and they've named it Perry's Brew in honor of Commodore Perry and Perry Monument and that sort of thing. Terrific cup of coffee. But if you're in Northeast Ohio this summer and you're looking for something to do, say a day trip, something like that, Put-in-Bay. You can get on the Jet Express and take it out to the islands. I did that with some friends a while back, several years ago. You just get your tickets, and you can go out to the islands just for the day, and then come back in the evening. It was absolutely wonderful. I think if you want to stay the weekend on the island, you really have to book very far into the future. I mean, it's like maybe 6 months, a year, something like that. I think, from what I understand, but it is really a terrific destination. And this morning, I've got my Nerd Dogs coffee cup. Well, yeah, because we're going to nerd out a little bit on in the refill topic. That's we got. It's going to be some shaving nerd kind of discussion. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm really looking forward to this morning's Monday morning mailbag. We got some really good content. And let's kick it off like we do every week with a viewer morning shaving tip. Okay, this morning's shaving tip comes from viewer Charles K. And he writes, "Good day, Mark. The Monday morning mailbags continue to be a treat, both instructive and fun." Thanks very much, Charles. I appreciate that. Here's a shaving tip for your consideration. Summer is upon us, and many of your subscribers will likely find their way to the beach and/or swimming pool. And we all know that being in the sun for extended periods of time requires a liberal application of sunscreen, especially for our faces. Over the years, it has been my experience that sunscreen's ingredients in the oil and lotion can cause clogged pores, which can result in an ingrown whisker, etc. To combat this scenario, proper shaving preparation is, of course, a must. In addition, it has been my recent discovery, and thus my suggestion for a tip, that more focused, extra time and extra scrubbing, face lathering, combined with a slightly coarser shaving brush, thoroughly exfoliates the skin, prepares whiskers for shaving, and unclogs pores. My brush of choice has become the luxury shaving brush by Bevel. Easily found on Amazon, eBay, etc., it is perfectly suited for this task. The Amazon description is very good. Originally designed for African American men by the original owner, the company is now a subsidiary of Procter & Gamble, and in my judgment, should be marketed to the entire shaving population. Please know that I have discussed this with Procter & Gamble's customer service group. By the way, I also have the Bevel razor, which is a complete delight, a 3-piece razor, with a terrific satin finish and closed shaving head end caps. As always, with my compliments, thanks for your consideration, and kindest personal regards, Charles K. Charles, thanks very much for the shaving tip. A really good one, especially now that, of course, summer's upon us. Yeah, we're going to be outside, sunscreen, that sort of thing. Really very good shaving tip. And I know that, last week, I was out in the sun without any sunscreen, and luckily I caught myself before it got away too too badly, but I found that some of the balms I have from Phoenix Shaving and Sterling really helped to kind of curb whatever kind of irritation may have come about. But yes, absolutely, got to be careful with the skin. If we're going to be using sunscreen, could result in clogged pores. Great tip, Charles. And in looking for a coarser brush in my own, amongst my own shaving gear, I came across the Vikings Blade White Knight synthetic shaving brush. As I've mentioned in the past, this brush seems to have a little bit of tooth, just a little bit of tooth to it. So I think this would be a good candidate. Now, I've had this several years, so that just could be the age of the synthetic fibers. I don't know. But it'll be my go-to brush to add a little bit of tooth, a little bit of coarseness to exfoliate the skin and that sort of thing. So yeah, thanks very much for the tip, Charles. Really do appreciate it. And to say thanks, for you and only you, an original signed George sketch. So please email me your snail mail address at mondaymailbag@gmail.com, mondaymailbag@gmail.com, and I will send this to you post haste. And if you out there would like an original signed George sketch, all you have to do is send me an email tip. No, email me a shaving tip. That's what I meant to say. Email me a shaving tip. Email that shaving tip to mondaymailbag@gmail.com, mondaymailbag@gmail.com. And if I use it on the morning shaving tip segment, you too will receive an original signed George sketch. So thanks very much for the shaving tip again, Charles. Really do appreciate it. Okay, a little bit of a shaving den tour of sorts here this morning. Got a couple of them. The first one comes from, well, it's a shaving den. It's also a brush build. The picture's taken in a shaving den, so that's why I'm including it here. I thought it was really a neat series of photographs. And also a really neat build, so we're including it here in the shaving den segment. This comes from Tomas Tavares. Now, he gave us the shaving tip last week, in last week's Monday morning mailbag, about the anti-slip decal you can put in your shower stall. Take one of those and fit it into the bottom of a shaving bowl to add a little bit of friction to help build a lather. Well, he sent along this. Fun build was his subject heading. Hello, Mark. I wanted to share with you my latest build. It was fun and an homage to my hometown, Chicago, and the Chicago White Sox. The knot took 4 weeks to get here and about 4 trips to Hobby Lobby, but I managed to make a one-of-a-kind brush. I'm an artisan and craftsman. Keep up the cool videos and thanks for the reviews. Well, thanks very much for that, Tomas. I really do appreciate that. The helmet is from the 1980s when you could buy a sundae and get a team helmet. Laugh out loud. I used it as a shave bowl, and I did use a small strip of the shower sticker to make the bottom not so smooth. Thanks again. Hope you enjoy the homage. Yes, I did. It's fantastic. We got a little glimpse of your shaving den as well. Absolutely wonderful and spectacular, and I absolutely love that shaving brush. That brush looks awesome. And the shaving bowl, those little helmets, I remember those helmets myself. That is a fantastic idea. Wow. And I know it's going to inspire a lot of other wet shavers out there who may have one of those bowls laying around their house. Yeah, that is a fantastic repurpose. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So thanks very much for that, Tomas. Really do appreciate it. Shaving den number 2. Tim Whitcup messaged me in Facebook, and he said, coming up on 1 year since I got a George sketch. Time flies. Wow, I can't believe a year of George sketches to viewers for shaving tips. Wow, Tim, I'm very flattered that you framed it up and you have it in your shaving den. I believe we showed it once before. And happy to show it again. Wow, that is just fantastic. And I got to pinch myself. I can't believe it's been a year, a full year, maybe even a little more of a year of doing these sketches for viewers. So yeah, that is really neat. I'm very flattered. And I can't believe it's been a year. Wow, that's absolutely. And I think the first sketch went out to Sig Solo. I think Sig Solo got the very first sketch. Sig, let me know. I think you got the very, very first sketch. And so I think it kind of developed from him sending me a tip. And I thought, well, you know what? I'll do a sketch and I'll send it back to him because he's in Greenland. And I thought, well, yeah, that'll be a quick way to send him something back to Greenland. And it just kind of grew from there. And again, it's the viewers that make this channel. It's the viewers that have inspired this channel and the different aspects of it. And the shaving tip, definitely viewer inspired. So thanks again, Tomas and Tim. Really do appreciate it. And if you out there have a picture or two of your shaving den, hey, send it into the Monday Morning Mailbag at mondaymailbag@gmail.com, mondaymailbag@gmail.com, and I'll feature it on the Shaving Den segment. So thanks again, Tim and Tomas. Really do appreciate it. Well, what do you know? Coffee's getting low. That time of the show. Let's go back for a refill. Okay, we're off to a great start this morning. I hope you're enjoying a cup of coffee. Yeah, I forgot to mention, if you're taking me along on your morning commute, thanks very much for the lift. I really, really do appreciate it. And again, I hope you're enjoying a cup of coffee with me. I hope you went back for a refill. I certainly did. And speaking of refill, we got some great topics. And this is the part of the show we're going to nerd out a little bit on vintage Gillette razors. But before we get to that, Frank Miska wrote and said, "Hi, Mark. Great Monday morning mailbag. To follow up on your conversation about unscented soaps, several terrific artisan companies also make them." Yeah, we talked about unscented soaps last week and also in previous Monday morning mailbags, and I've reviewed the Hendrix Classics and Company unscented shave soaps and unscented shave soap and unscented balm, where you can add your own scent to it as well. Actually, he goes on to say here, Sterling has two, Naked and Smooth, and unscented with beeswax. Soap Commander has one, Integrity, and last but certainly not least, PAA has two, one in CK1 formula and the other in CK6. And PAA, Phoenix Shaving, also makes an unscented pre-shave soap in puck form. All of these are great, and they can be combined with the Hendrix scents. That is, that is a nice twist to it. You buy the scents from Hendrix, and then you can buy whatever unscented soap you want from whichever vendor you want, whatever company you want, Sterling, Soap Commander, or Phoenix Shaving, depending on which base you prefer, and then add that scent. Yes, great point, Frank. P.S. Sterling also has Sheep, which is very similar to Mitchell's Wool Fat, and has little to no scent. Have a great week, Frank Miska. Frank, thank you so much for that great information regarding unscented soaps. Really do appreciate it. I'm definitely going to look at a few of these, probably the Phoenix Shaving. I'm already making a list for another order. I always like to order an extra cube and just kind of put it away and have that ready for either use in the shaving den or maybe a giveaway, something like that, an extra cube or two, an extra alum block or two, those kinds of things. And you know what? The unscented with beeswax from Sterling, that looks very, very intriguing. And also that's very, very interesting. But yeah, great information. Thanks very much for that, Frank. Really, really do appreciate it. Now we're going to nerd out. This is the nerd out part of the refill that we talked about, which is why I'm using the the Nerd Dogs coffee mug. Yeah. I had done a video review of the Gillette Tech Ball and Razor. Boy, these are terrific, terrific razors. They really are. And there were a series of comments up there, and I thought, wow, that would be perfect for the refill. So the first comment in regards to the Gillette Tech Ball N came from viewer Sam Lincicome. Lincicome. Sam Lincicome. Sam, let me know if I pronounced that correctly. I think I did, Sam Lincicome. And he wrote, I came across one of these the other day for $5. What a steal of a deal. She is now my go-to favorite along with my 1953 Super Speed and my 1920s/30s open comb ball end. Oh, and my 1961 Super Speed adjustable slim. Yeah, these are absolutely fantastic razors. The ones you mentioned are absolutely fantastic. I love these vintage ball end razors. And yes, you can get these for $5 and $10. if you're looking in the right places. Absolutely terrific. I think this one dates from like 1951 or 1953. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. You can still see the marking here on the cap. Let's see, Gillette like that, I think. It's faded off quite a bit, but you can find these in great, great shape. I have another one right here in gold. Check that out. And I bought this from another wet shaver from one of the forums. I can't remember who it was. My apologies. But this cleaned up very, very nice using the polishing cloth from, well, here. Where's the polishing cloth? Right here from Razor Emporium. I used this polishing cloth on it. Really, really cleaned it up well. And, you know, this particular razor from the seller came with two base plates, two cap and base plates. The rectangular like this, rectangular slots right here. If I remember correctly, that means it's post-World War II. And if it comes with triangular slots right there, triangular slots, can you see that? Triangular slots. That means it's pre-World War II. So the pre-World War II, the triangular slots are a little more, the razor, the cap of the base plate, the razor is a little more aggressive than the rectangular slots that you see here. Boy, these are terrific. And yeah, this is a little more aggressive, this razor head, but you know, if you need it, you've got it. So yeah, they're absolutely fantastic. And I do have a Gillette Slim Super Speed Adjustable. Get one of these. You can find these very affordable price. If it looks like it's not in the best of shape and maybe needs replating, you can go to, you know, Razor Emporium. They do a great job. I went to razorplate.com. Chris Evett, he did a couple of these for me. This is my 1964 Gillette Slim Adjustable. It's a J3. This was used in the model, the Slim, was used in the 1964 movie Goldfinger, which is why I did a video on it, because, you know, James Bond has this in the movie Goldfinger. Yeah, another terrific, terrific razor. I mean, you can find these for an affordable price. And again, if it has to be replated or cleaned up, something like that, you can go to razorplate.com or Razor Emporium. They do great jobs in bringing these back. This thing looks brand new, and it looks like it's going to last another 75 years. I mean, absolutely fantastic and great, great build. Great, built with really, really great materials. Regarding your Super Speed, the 1953 Super Speed. Now, I have my late father's one. I have my late father's Gillette Super Speed from 1957. And I have not had this replated. I have not done anything other than just wash it. That's all I've done. I just washed it. And look what, it's in just immaculate, immaculate shape. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's over 60 years old, and look at that. It's just in beautiful shape. And yeah, I shave with this. It's a wonderful razor. Now, the one you mentioned, Sam, from 1950, what was you mentioned again? 1953. I'm wondering if it has this handle. This is my early 1950s Gillette Super Speed. Same razor head as the one that of my late father. Same razor head, but definitely a different handle. This is the more, I guess you could say this is the more commonly known handle on some of these Gillette Super Speeds here. You find these in the middle 50s into the late 50s into the 60s. Whereas this early 1950s Super Speed has this micro knurling on the handle. I think this is the late 40s handle, or the 1940s handle, late 40s into the early 1950s before they changed to this handle design here. Now, anybody out there who knows this for certain, please comment below and let us know. I'm kind of recollecting what I've seen on the web when I acquired this one. Kind of fill me, you know, kind of understand why it had this kind of handle. I believe it's the 1940s design handle that also was produced into the early 1950s before they went to this design here. So yeah, absolutely fantastic, fantastic razors. And you can find these for really affordable prices if you're looking in the right place. Now, David Zapla, C-Z-A-P-L-A, Zapla. Let me know if I got that right, David. He wrote, the added weight of the solid handle makes all the difference in the world when compared to the fat handle tech. Yes, I agree. This does have a nice solid handle and it has some nice heft. I happen to have a fat handle tech right here, and it has, again, those triangular slots there. Well, here, let me get that out there so you can see. This has those triangular slots here, so it is a little more aggressive. And this razor, this particular razor here, this fat handle razor, from what I understand from the seller, I got this from another wet shaving enthusiast who sold it to me via one of the forums. I believe this goes back to, I think, 1938. So, I mean, again, look at that. I mean, that's just fantastic. And it didn't cost a lot of money. It was a fair price. I want to say $15, $20, maybe $25, something like that. But of course, it's going to be a little more in that price range versus a $5 tech because, you know, it's a fat handle and it's pre-World War II. I understand that. This gives a really, really terrific shave. Again, the razor head is a little more aggressive than something you would find in the 1950s, but they're both great. But yes, this definitely has more heft to it. And again, a great couple of great razors. So, you know, look for the fat handles because these are great, and look for the kind of razor head they have, whether they got the rectangular slots or the triangular slots. That'll tell you that'll kind of allow you to hone in on when it was made, more or less, that sort of thing. Ballpark, before they were actually putting a lot of those date codes on the caps or on base plates, from what I understand. John Randall wrote, I have a Gillette razor. It's a travel type razor. I've noticed it has a slim head and it was cheap compared to other razors I have, while other types have a bulky type head. When you're shaving under your nose, the Gillette, it reaches where the others don't. The head stops them. Expensive is not always suits. I don't know what that means. I guess he's saying that expensive not always the way to go. You can find an affordable razor, I think is what he's saying there. However, he mentions this razor here. This is the Gillette Tech Travel Razor. Now, I accidentally tore the leather case here, and I kind of put some sort of glue on there to kind of hold it together, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to need another case or try to find another one of these with a better case. But I kind of glued it back together just to kind of keep it in one piece because it does hold a travel Gillette Tech. And I also have the original razor blades in there. This is another fun razor that you can find on eBay, yard sales, estate sales, that sort of thing. This one was in really, really terrific shape, and it wasn't a lot of money. It comes with a very, very short ball end handle there, and it comes with a razor head. Now, the razor head is a little different from the ones I've shown you with these others. You can see the difference right here. The razor head here doesn't have this kind of business here, this little bit of sloping here, and it doesn't have the branding that seems to be carved in there, etched in there, that sort of thing. But let me show you what it looks like when you put it together. And of course, you know, here it is right here. Here is the cap and the base plate like that. All right, so you put it together like that, and there you go. That's it. I mean, it's very, very compact. In the case, you can take the handle, the razor head, and some blades right there. And the blades, let's just take out the blades. I haven't opened these up. These came super stainless steel blade. Those are still brand new. I never opened them up, never tried them. Now, I had a couple of shaves with this. The first shave, in all honesty, was rather disappointing because just as Dave was talking about the weight of the handle, the difference in the weight of the handle of the fat handle and the Gillette Tech ball end, this has a little more weight. In the same way, this was really very, very light. So the weight of the razor really doesn't do a lot of the work. However, I went from I believe I was using a platinum coated or chromium coated blade. I'd have to look at the review and take a look at it again. but it was a coated blade. I went to a sharper blade, a stainless steel blade, much like that they included with this razor here. And that stainless steel blade had a little more edge, and boy, did that up the efficiency of this. And I got a wonderful shave with this razor. So I think that the key to this is just to get a really sharp blade, use something that is not coated, and it's not a platinum coated or a chromium coated blade. At least for me, that seemed to work. So the second shave was really, really terrific. I did a revisit video and I got a really, really nice result. So so that's kind of the long and short of it when it comes to Gillette vintage razors. Sam mentioned an open comb ball end. I happen to have an open comb ball end. It's called an old type. And I found this in my father's shaving gear. And I pull it out once in a blue moon, and I want to show it to you again. I have it in this little case right here with a little bit of cushioning there. I'm going to be really, really careful with it here. Here it is right here. It's open comb like this, right like that. And the one thing about these old type razors that I've learned from other wet shavers is that more likely than not, the handles will have little hairline cracks in them. And I guess that just comes from the years and years and years of turning them on, and because the handle is hollow. And that comes, my understanding is that the handle's hollow. And that hairline crack just comes from putting the handle on, taking the handle off, that sort of thing. And, giving it maybe too much torque. So I don't shave with this very, very often. Once in a blue moon, and this is the once in a blue moon, I'm pulling it out and showing it to you. Found it in my father's shaving gear, and my assumption is this belonged to his father. So it belonged to my grandfather. Now, the only thing wrong with it, because the handle is intact, the only thing wrong with it is I have one tooth that's been bent inward right here. Can you see that? It's been bent inward just a little bit. Now, wet shavers, when I first showed this to them, and I was just starting my wet shaving journey, they told me that if that tooth is bent east to west like that, you can still shave with it. It's good. If it was bent north and south, then you're probably not going to be able to use it. And their advice was, don't touch it. Just leave it the way it is and shave with it, because if you try to bend that back and align it, it's going to snap off. So I definitely followed that advice, and I'm not touching it, and it shaves wonderfully well. It really does shave well. Now, the reason why that is bent inward, my guess is because that possibly is from the tapping action inside the sink trying to get the lather off. I think perhaps that was a common practice. Instead of swirling in the water, you weren't getting the lather off. They were probably swirling it and maybe tapping a little bit to give it just a little bit of a punch to get the lather off of that so they could continue their shave. Just a guess, just a hunch on my part. What do you think? Is that what was going on there? Or maybe it was just dropped. I don't know. But it's in great shape. It was in my late father's shaving gear. And it's one that, going to have a shave with it. I think I did a video of this. I think I did one video, a shave of this, and it was a really nice shave. And I haven't really shaved with it since. I've taken it out and I've looked at it a couple times. I'm just so very afraid I'm going to cause a crack in that handle. So it's a nice keepsake, and it's something to show folks every once in a while. I have some other open comb razors that I use that are very, very similar to this. And I use in place of this. So I'm going to set that over there so I don't drop it. I'm going to set it aside when we go to the next section of today's Monday morning mailbag. But hey, a great nerd-like refill this morning. My thanks to everyone who contributed. Frank, thanks for the unscented shaving soap tips. Really do appreciate it. And Sam, Dave, and John, thank you very much for your input regarding vintage Gillette razors. It really, it's terrific. It's great to come back and look at these vintage razors. And I guess the lesson here is, you don't always have to go out and buy something brand spanking new. These vintage razors are out there. They're plentiful. You can find them at some really, really good, affordable prices, even bargain prices. Like I say, Sam found this ball end for $5. Yeah, they are out there. And just know that if you find one that is mechanically sound, like one of these adjustable slims, mechanically sound, you can always have it replated. And mine's replated, and it looks absolutely stunning. It looks brand new. So a lot of options with these vintage razors. It's great to have them as part of a collection. There's a lot of history in there, and that's what I really enjoy. I enjoy the history of these razors and how they were made and manufactured. And when you think about it, one more point, when you think about it, what were these Gillette Slims back in the day, like 1964? What was this? What did this cost to sell? I think $1.79, $1.89, less than $2. That is really amazing. And what a well-built razor for less than $2. Wow. Yeah. So something to consider. And again, seek them out. Keep your eyes open if you're ever going through a flea market, an estate sale, because, yard sale, because it's summer and those are going to be in full swing. So keep your eyes out for some of these vintage razors. And just know that if you find a Tech, if you find a Super Speed, if you find a Slim, if you find a Fat Boy, I have a Fat Boy as well. We've seen that one before. If you've signed any of those razors and, they're a couple bucks, $10, snap them up. You can always find a way to recondition them and clean them up and that sort of thing. At least that's what I'm seeing from a lot of other wet shavers. Yeah, really, really neat. And sometimes you'll find them in just really, really nice shape for not a lot of money. So that's the long and short of it. So thanks to everyone who contributed to this week's refill. Gentlemen, really, really do appreciate it. Okay, it's time to check out some new wet shaving gear. Okay, new wet shaving gear. Let's kick it off with something from viewer Raul Alberto de la Rosa. He sent a couple of razor blade samples, and the first one, of course, was Filoso. I tried these out. I reviewed them. Boy, these are really terrific. They're sharp. Really, really wonderful. I'll have a link below where you can get these. You can buy 100, 200, 300. Boy, this was really, really a terrific blade. I like it a lot. And of course, I reviewed it, and just really wonderful shave. The other razor blade he sent is one that I just used recently. I've done a review. The review will run this Wednesday, and it is the Gentleman right here, the Gentleman. This was a wonderful razor blade. I really enjoyed the shave with this. I've had 2 shaves with it, and I have one of those shaves was a review. Absolutely fantastic. As a matter of fact, I shaved with it right before the Monday morning mailbag. Fantastic shave. Now, this is a double-edged blade. It's super platinum. It's made from extra premium stainless steel. One tuck of blades up at Maggard Razors is $1. One tuck of 10 blades over at the Razor Company is 75 cents. So one tuck of 10 from Maggard Razors is $1, and one tuck of 10 at the Razor Company is 75 cents. These are made in India, and I really liked them a lot. Now the review, I used my Vikings Blade Chieftain razor. What an agreeable shave it was. It was wonderful. It was close. It was smooth, but really it was comfortable. It was a really comfortable shave. This is a neutral razor. Twist to open. As I say, this is the razor that brought me back to the traditional wet shave. Yes, I found my father's Gillette Super Speed. That brought me back to the traditional wet shave, but I did not want to use this until I learned the traditional wet shave. So I kind of set it aside, and I looked for a razor, and I found the Vikings Blade Chieftain. And yeah, this really, really did a great job in bringing me back to the traditional wet shave. And really, really just enjoyed this razor. And this blade and this razor, well, you know what? Check out the review on Wednesday, because it really did, it just paired up so well. Just did a great job. The shave that I did prior to the Monday morning mailbag, this Monday morning mailbag, was another great razor. Second use of the blade, of the Gentleman razor blade, with the Merica razor from the Wet Shaving Club. Terrific razor, stainless steel. I think this is made in Pennsylvania. This is a wonderful, wonderful razor. Great heft. Also has a magnet in the bottom, so you can, pick up your blade like that. Isn't that great? Yeah. So love that little aspect of it. But yeah, this blade was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I was really impressed by the smoothness of it. Very, very smooth. It's sharp, but it has kind of like a soft edge sharpness to it, if you know what I mean. But it was just a really comfortable, enjoyable shave with both razors. So yeah, the Gentleman Razor. My thanks to Raul Alberto de la Rosa for these. You can get them on the Razor Company website. You can get them at Maggard Razors on their website. $1 for 10 at Maggard's, and 10 of them for 75 cents at the Razor Company, if I recall correctly. So check them out. I'll have the links below, and I also will have a link directly to the folks at Filoso. Their razor blades, these are great too. I mean, two really terrific razor blades. My thanks again to Raul Alberto de la Rosa for sending these along. Thanks very much, Raul. Really do appreciate it. Viewer Jerry's Graffiti checks in, and he writes, if you're looking for a new soap company to try and a great base, check out Azalea City Suds. He's having a sale, 30% off. Well, that's when he wrote this to me. Hopefully that sale is still on. I know the guy, and he's a great person. Definitely give them a try. I have scents of Brand New Man, Fresh Cut Timber, Reserve Stock, Pink Peppercorn, Lemon Bark, and Fresh Cut Timber in his Genesis base. His soap is slick, easy to lather, and very moisturizing. I promise you, awesome stuff. Hope you give them a try, Jerry's Graffiti. Jerry's, I will definitely have the link below. Thank you for providing the link. Another great artisan soap maker to check out, folks. Really looking forward to hearing your comments and your feedback. If you have tried them, let us know in the comments below. I'm very, very intrigued. Azalea City Suds. So thanks very much for that, Jerry's. Really, really do appreciate it. Again, great time to be doing the traditional wet shave. What are you waiting for? There's so much out there. There are some great artisan soap makers out there, razors, blades, etc. Every time I turn around, there's something new on the horizon. Absolutely great time to be doing the traditional wet shave. And here's another example, another artisan soap maker out there that is winning folks over in the wet shaving community, Azalea City Suds. Viewer Bob Leroux checked in, and he writes, hi Mark, I'm attaching 2 Amazon Vine reviews. I think the first one I hadn't sent you. The second one is brand new. And he says, hope all is well in Ohio. Well, the first review is for Wood, W-O-U-L-D, Wood, Barstool Sports Brands, Men's Aftershave Balm. This looks really, really nice. It looks like it's lightly scented. They also make a shaving cream. Now, I've written the company and I have not received an answer yet. I want to know if their shaving cream is brush or brushless or a combination, does double duty. You can use it brushless or with a brush. So that's what I'm waiting to hear from them, because I'd like to try the shaving cream and the aftershave balm together and do a review of them and find out, what the performance is like. Very, very intrigued by the aftershave balm. Absolutely. Looks like being lightly scented and having some nice moisturizing qualities. Reviews seem to be very, very good. Looks like it could be something that you could use with a lot of different scented soaps and aftershaves, that sort of thing. That's what I'm thinking. His second review, at the time he sent it to me, it was not yet posted, but it was for the Xpersis Pro Safety Razor for Men, double edge, real handcrafted German steel in gold. Looks like a really nice razor. And his review starts out like this. Bob's review starts out like this. For serious wet shavers, this is one to try. Check out their product page or their website, www.xpersisusa.com, and you'll see that this is one of many products. The razor head is very similar to an Edwin Jagger DE89, and the handle is like a Rockwell 6S with a great grip and good knurling. Even with wet, soapy hands, you'll get a firm grip. Well, I'll link to that review, and if the review still hasn't been posted, I will copy it and pin it in the comments section. Looks like a really neat razor. Again, great stuff out there, and looking forward to hearing more about the Xpersis Pro Safety Razor. If you have this, if you've tried it, please comment below and let us know. Again, Bob, thanks for the heads up on 2 new great products, the Balm and the razor. Really do appreciate it. Rodney Ripplinger sent this along. Is this the new way to go? Makes sense to me if it works. The Boti screw shaving brush. Now, I think it's Boti, B-O-T-I. I'm going to go with Boti. Could be Boti. I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Boti. Boti screw shaving brush. And they write, our new design screw shaving brush. You can change the knots at will and experience the tactility brought by different materials. Give you a better shaving experience. Now they have a link to this, and I will provide that link. I think this is something that is still being produced and developed and is not yet fully on the website. From what I can see, I can find the handles and perhaps one knot, but I don't see a variety of knots yet. But that is really interesting that you can have a handle and just screw in a knot rather than glue it in. And then if you don't like it, unscrew it and screw in a different kind of knot. That is really very neat. So I'll have the link below. If you've seen this brush, if you've heard about it, please comment below. If you even have one, let us know. Really very interested about it. A really interesting approach to shaving brushes and switching out knots. So thanks very much for the heads up on that, Rodney. Really do appreciate it. Rodney also checked in with the following. He wrote, interesting bathroom things at the bottom of the page, and he provides the link. Yeah, these are all 3D printed items. This comes from the website thingiverse.com. This is a website that you can visit and actually download the digital blueprints for all these different items, whether they be shaving bowls or razor stands or brush stands, whatever it is. Pretty amazing. You can download these blueprints for these items and then send those blueprints off to a 3D printing house, like a little boutique 3D printing service. A lot of them online, maybe even some in your local area, but then they will get those blueprints and then input it into their 3D printer with the material and then actually make that item and ship it to you. Pretty amazing stuff. And I know that the Cleveland Public Library has 3D printers. I've not seen them. I haven't visited, but my understanding is maybe you have to take a class or become a little more well-versed before you can actually use the 3D printers that they have. However they do it, it's available for library patrons. So you would just go in with your digital blueprints and your material and make whatever item you can find from Thingiverse. Pretty amazing stuff. So the photos are just some examples of what's available out there. So you might want to check out thingiverse.com. I think Etsy also has a number of sellers up there that are selling 3D printed items. So you might want to do a search on Etsy for those kinds of things. That way you wouldn't have to download the blueprint and try to find a 3D printing service. Some of the sellers are just doing it. They're just designing their own, like a shaving bowl or a razor stand or whatever it is, and just selling it that way. So you can just go up there and, I like that shaving bowl, or I like that razor stand, and just buy it from them. And then they would just, print it out on their 3D printer and then ship it to you. I mean, it's really very amazing stuff. It's space age technology. It really is amazing. So it'll be interesting to see how this impacts the traditional wet shave and the number of items that become available. And as the technology gets better and better and better, and 3D printing becomes quicker and quicker and quicker, and it's going to, it's going to go in that direction. It'll be really interesting to see what what comes from that. So thanks very much for pointing that out, Rodney. Really, really do appreciate it. Wow, a lot of great, amazing stuff out there for the traditional wet shave. Really amazing. Even cutting edge, high-tech 3D printing items. Really, really amazing. Thanks again, Rodney. Okay, that's it for this week's new shaving gear. Thanks to everyone who contributed. We'll do it again next week. Okay, let's get to some of these questions and comments. Okay, viewer Jimmy V Photography checks in, and he is talking about corking a blade. Now, I finally got a nice wine cork here. I got several of them from my niece Kelly. This comes from a winery in Geneva, Ohio. They're called M Cellars, and I will link to them. So thanks very much, Kelly, for sending this along to me. She works there part-time. She's a wine taster, wine tester. These corks are terrific. They really are. I got the little M on there. But anyhow, the idea behind corking a blade is to smooth it out a little bit for that first shave. Some wet shavers claim that when you take that blade and you cork it, just take that blade and just cork it a little bit. Of course, unwrap it, obviously. You cork it a little bit. It smooths out any roughness that might be on that blade edge a little bit. Because the thinking is that some wet shavers say that a blade on the second use, and we're talking uncorked here, a blade on the second use of a razor blade on its second use is smoother than the first use. The first use feels a little bit rough to some wet shavers. Now, to resolve that, you run it through a cork as if you had shaved with it. For that first shave, you run it through a cork that kind of mimics the first shave so that it kind of smooths it out a little bit. So when you shave with that blade corked the first time, it's a smoother shave. That's the idea. Anyhow, Jimmy V has been working with this, and he has been emailing me his procedure, and I asked him, what his results were. And he said, so far, I've been very pleased. The second shave seems to be a match for the first, which is kind of the reasoning behind corking. Just today, in fact, I did another blind test with a Strangelet razor blade. My girlfriend loads the console with the Strangelet blade, not telling me if it was just corked, a second-use non-corked Strangelet, or a second-use corked Strangelet. I'm at the point now where I can tell a non-corked or first-use Strangelet from corked or second-use. The idea behind this particular morning's test was to see if the corking had any negative impact on the quality of the second shave. It did not. So far, my conclusion is that corking makes the first shave better, but isn't detrimental to the second shave. In fact, I think the second shave corked blade is nicer than a second-use non-corked. I'm pretty much a two-use and done shaver, so I can't speak to a third shave with the same blade. I also can't speak to how someone with a growth of tungsten wires for a beard would fare in this. But for me, corking certainly is the way to go, just like cold shaving. My girlfriend is loving this testing process, so now every shave is a blind test. She's the one tracking which blades are at what stage and corked versus non-corked. She also loads the razor, so I have no idea which blade I'm using. We plan on doing these tests with other blade brands and coated versus non-coated blades. Since I have to shave anyway and we both love the testing process, there should be some fun weeks and shaves coming up. Hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend, Jimmy V. Yeah, I had a great Memorial Day weekend, Jimmy. I hope you did as well, and I hope the viewers also had a nice holiday weekend here in the States. That is really, really something. Now, I hope I didn't read that in such a way that it was confusing to the viewer. But again, he says that his girlfriend loads the console, that's the razor with the Strangelet, not telling him if it's just corked, if it's a second-use non-corked blade or a second-use corked blade. That's what he was saying there, okay? So that's kind of fleshes it out a little bit now that I see it here for the second time. Yeah, that is really, really a neat testing and proving ground, Jimmy. So thanks very much for sending that along. And I don't necessarily cork blades. I really haven't corked them because I really haven't had a cork. But now that Kelly has sent me some wine corks, and these seem to be a little dense, I'm going to try it. I'm going to definitely try it and see how it works out and see if it makes a difference. Now, I will say this. The upcoming review I did with the Gentleman razor blade, I happened to mention in that review that, man, oh man, oh man, the first shave with this blade was so smooth and comfortable. Now, it could be because it was the Chieftain razor. This is an absolutely spectacular razor. Love it. Obviously with the blade and the razor and corking, not corking, your mileage may vary. We all know this. However, I mentioned that, I've never really corked a blade, but my hunch is that if you use this blade, Jimmy, and other wet shavers out there, if you use this blade, test this one and let me know if it's as smooth on the first shave uncorked as it is corked, because my hunch is this is a smooth blade uncorked right out of the box. I could be wrong because I don't cork a blade, but now that I have corks, I'm going to give it a try with this and with the Filoso and the Strangelet and some of the other blades that I have. So really, really interesting testing and proving ground, Jimmy. Looking forward to more results. Absolutely enjoy those shaves. And tell your girlfriend, thanks very, very much for giving me a hand with that. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks again. Viewer Wholesome Boy checked in with this comment, and he wrote, "Just to let you know, I asked Douglas about using a washer on the Metaphor razor. He answered that it's not needed on that particular razor because the material apparently will not fade and or scrape the handle. And if you wash," maybe he meant watch here, I'm not sure. "And if you wash that part closely, it came buffered from the factory." I think he meant watch. "And if you watch that part closely, it came buffered from the factory." Well, you know what? I stand corrected, Wholesome Boy. I have been putting these buffer rings on a number of my razors because I had a mishap. Here's my buffer ring right here. And I'll tell you what, right now, it's going to come off. And I'm not going to use the buffer ring on the Metaphor anymore. I'll just set it aside. And I agree with you. I think it'll be fine without the buffer ring. It is a stainless steel razor, and I think that'll be better for this particular razor. I agree. And there are some stainless steel razors where I'm not using the buffer ring. But the reason why I started using buffer rings is because I had a mishap with my Parker semi-slant. Now, many of you may recall that I didn't have the buffer ring in place. I have it there now. But let me show you what happened. I marred it a little bit. You can see that right there. See that where I marred it there? And that came about just from tightening the handle down, and I just heard some scraping, and it's a satin finish, and it didn't really do any damage, but it did mar it a little bit, which is why I'm using a buffer ring on this razor and a number of other plated razors, so to speak. But the stainless steel razors, I think for the most part, probably could get away without using a buffer ring. Now, that brings me to something else that happened just this past weekend. I was shaving with my King C Gillette, and I put a buffer ring in this. And when I first got it, I was not using buffer rings on my razors. But this time around, I put a buffer ring on it. I put a buffer ring on it, and I had a shave, and the razor head was out of balance. I was like, wow, why is this not balanced? I remember it being so nicely balanced. And I discovered what was going on here. It seems that the buffer ring I used was too large for that indentation there. See this indentation right here? The buffer ring was too large, and I think what happened was, I don't know if you can see this, but the buffer ring doesn't sit in that, little well there. I don't know if I can show it to you. It doesn't sit in that little indentation, in that little well. I don't know if I can show it to you there. It doesn't sit in there. When I tightened down, it kicked a little bit, and that kicked this razor head out of balance. So I think if I were to use a buffer ring with this particular razor, it'd have to be a little smaller in diameter, because this little indentation, this little well here, for the handle. It fits in with, the handle fits in there very, very nicely, but it's not, it's a little smaller than the diameter. The diameter of this is a little smaller than the diameter of the buffer ring. So this is another razor where I won't be using a buffer ring unless I find a smaller buffer ring that seats in there nicely, fits in there nicely. So that's something that you should be aware of if you have a King C Gillette and you have one of these standard buffer rings. Maybe you got them from Phoenix Shaving like I did, these black ones here that came from Phoenix Shaving. Yeah, they're great on other razors. They work really, really well. They're great on my Parker razors, and they're great on some of the other plated razors that I have. But for the King C Gillette, it threw this razor head out of balance, and I couldn't figure it out. And all of a sudden, I looked at the buffer ring. I thought, well, gee whiz, because if you look at this handle fits in so nicely and precisely into that little indentation, that little well in the base plate. So I just want to pass that along. And thanks again, Wholesome Boy, for the information regarding the Meta-4 razor. It's a fantastic razor. I highly recommend it. And yeah, if Douglas says it doesn't need a buffer ring, then it doesn't need a buffer ring, and I will go with that. And yeah, it's a fantastic razor. And henceforth, going forward, no buffer ring on this one, and on the Meta-4, and no buffer ring on the King C Gillette. So thanks very much for bringing me up to speed on that, Wholesome Boy, and I hope that helped some other wet shavers and viewers out there. If you have either of these razors, they're both terrific. Love them both. But again, that was my experience with the King C Gillette and a buffer ring. Maybe a smaller buffer ring might work, might help, maybe. But I think, going forward, no buffer ring on the King C Gillette and no buffer ring on the Meta-4 razor either. Thanks very much for that, Wholesome Boy. Really, really do appreciate the comment. Very, very helpful. Viewer Mark Bagwell checked in with this question and comments, and he wrote, Mark, what do you think of Parker razors? I like Parker razors. I have a few of them. I like them a lot. He continues, lately I've been using the 65R because it looks great, but I don't think the shave is as smooth as a Mula or an Edwin Jagger. So I changed the head with a Mula. Now I have the cool handle with the smooth Mula head. Almost put a game changer razor head on it. I might try that next. The reason I'm sharing this is to remind people that if you're not happy with the shave of a particular razor, but like the handle, then it's okay to mix and match. I know it's a given, but it's surprising how many people never think about changing it up. By the way, the Parker 65R has one of the most positive grip handles in my collection, and I think it's pure sexy. One thing I love about Parker razors is the handles are all brass. This gives them a solid feel and heft. Yeah, I agree. I like my Parker razors a lot. I like the heft and feel of both the semi-slant and the 65R. Love the rose gold color here. Love the color of the handle here on the semi-slant. This is a satin matte finish. This is a chrome finish. Yeah, they make some terrific, terrific razors. And I understand wanting to maybe place another razor head on a Parker razor because, yeah, I think the efficiency or the aggressiveness is up from an Edwin Jagger and a Mueller a little bit. So, yeah, a very, very good tip if you have a really good-looking handle. And I know that the 65R is a good-looking handle. I have something similar from Global Shave Clubs International. This is the Fire Razor. The handle, the shape of the handle isn't identical, but boy, that pattern there looks like it's spot on. And yeah, it does have a very, very positive grip, no doubt. But yes, that is something you can do. You can swap out those razor heads if you want to and improve your shave. Nothing says, there's nothing saying you can't do that. That is a very, very good suggestion. I did that one time with the Game Changer. Viewer Greg from Virginia very, very generously sent me the Game Changer razor head. And I didn't have a handle for it at the time. Well, I wasn't going to go out and buy a new handle. I was looking around to see what handles were available. Let me put it that way. And I remembered my Mission razor, my Razor Rock Mission razor. It came with a stainless steel handle. This is the stainless steel handle right here. So the Mission razor head is a chrome-plated Zamac razor head. It gave a nice shave, but the the Razor Rock stainless steel game changer razor head deserved a stainless steel handle. So I took off the Mission razor head, I put it in a little bag, I put a little label card in there telling me that it's the Mission razor head, and I set it aside, and I married up the stainless steel, the Razor Rock stainless steel handle with the Razor Rock stainless steel game changer razor head. So now I have a fully stainless steel Razor Rock game changer razor, and it's a wonderful razor. I highly, highly recommend the Game Changer. It's fantastic. But yeah, that's really the only time that I did it, and I'm not going to swap it back. Now that the Razor Rock Game Changer razor head has found a home with the stainless steel handle, that's it. It's staying there. And sometime down the road, if I find an appropriate handle for the Mission razor, then I will use that. And maybe I'll come across a razor, maybe I'll purchase a razor, a 3-piece razor, where the handle is really, really good, but the razor head isn't so great. Well, you know what? I'll have that Mission razor head kind of tucked away, and I'll put it with that handle, and I'll have another great razor. Great suggestion, Mark. Really, really is. So that's something to consider. And yeah, I've noticed that as well. There are some really, really great looking handles out there, really fantastic handles. And sometimes the razor head might not be agreeable, but you might have a razor head in the wings. Like I've got that Mission razor head in the wings. If I come across a razor that is so-so, but man, it's a good looking handle, I know the Mission razor head will have a new home with that handle. So thanks very much for the comments, Mark. I really do appreciate it. And yes, again, love, love, love the Parker razors. They are great. A little more efficient, maybe a little more aggressive is the word, than a Mula or an Edwin Jagger. Your mileage may vary. I like the shave that these razor heads give, and I absolutely love the heft and feel of these razors. Absolutely fantastic. I also have the A1R, which is a travel razor. Fantastic razor for travel. Really, really do like that a lot. Did a review of that when we went to Hocking Hills. Check that review out. It was a terrific razor to take for a weekend getaway. Absolutely. So yeah, I definitely love the Parker razor product. It's very, very good. And thanks for the suggestion of, putting a good razor head or an agreeable razor head for your shave onto that handle and having a fantastic razor. That's, mixing and matching can really improve that handle with the right razor head. So thanks again for that, Mark. Really, really do appreciate it. Viewer 10 Fluid Ounces 30 Minutes wrote the following comment in response to the review I did on the Kai razor blade. I used the Kai razor blade with the Metaphor razor. Fantastic shave. These are really, really sharp blades. He wrote, "We see you struggling with the wrapper, and we often also struggle with the wrappers of the blades we open for the first time. Just use either a fingernail to pry the paper or a flat, thin edge device like a knife, and it does not need to be sharp, but only thin enough to flip the wrapper flaps." Thanks very much for that tip, 10 Fluid Ounces, 30 Minutes. I appreciate that. Yeah, I had a devil of a time unwrapping these. These very kindly came from Simon Hasanoff's from across the pond, and I think perhaps it got mashed down and compressed as it was being shipped from overseas, and maybe that compacted the glue a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm glad you mentioned a flat device. I had this thing right here in the drawer, and I didn't pick it up. I didn't take it out of the drawer. This probably would have worked very, very well. It's got a nice, thin, blunt edge to it, and I probably could have used that to pry that wrapper up. So I'm going to keep this in mind. If you have something similar, when you run into that problem of a really, really sticky, gluey kind of wrapper on the blade, maybe something, this is really thin, isn't it? Look how thin that is. This would probably have worked very, very well. I'm going to have to keep this in mind down the road if I ever run into a situation like that. Again, my thanks to Simon Hasanoff for sending the Kai razor blades. Boy, these are sharp. Check out that review. And of course, I used it in the Metaphor razor. Fantastic, fantastic razor. No buffering anymore with the Metaphor razor. Really fantastic, fantastic shave. And thanks for the tip regarding unwrapping a sticky wrapper, 10 fluid ounces, 30 minutes. Really, really do appreciate it. Well, okay, that's it for another Monday morning mailbag. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please share, please subscribe, please like. Hit that bell so it'll give you a yell the next time I upload a video. Comment below, let me know. Check out the Executive Shaving Company. Use the code MARK5. Check out my blog, georgetoon.com/blog. For my comic strip George, other cartoons, other videos like this. I'm on Facebook. Check out my Facebook page. Check out Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements for some great, great shaving gear. Check out VikingsBlade.com for some great shaving gear. For all things Barbas, check out Big Dude Barbas. I'll have the link below. Check out my Amazon product page at amazon.com/shop/MarkZerady, where you'll find all the products I review in this channel, organized and categorized so you can find everything in a snap very easily. I'll leave you with this laugh. Thanks very much for tuning in again. I really do appreciate it. Make it a great week.